All right, let's take another hot take. If you want to submit a hot take for me to tackle in one of my videos, my Patreon is patreon.com/prozd. It's $1 a month. There's a link down there. This one says, more anime watchers need to pick some unheard of show each season or every few seasons to watch. I think a lot of the problems we see with online anime discourse is from people only watching the most hyped/talked about shows, then go run online to farm engagement about how it's mid/bad when it doesn't change their life. Watching less hyped seasonal shows can both incentivize just watching a show for the sake of enjoying it, rather than needing to have an opinion about it, and can provide broader perspective about all of anime as a medium. Best case, you find your new hidden gem favorite. Worst case, it recontextualizes what a mid or bad show really is. So, this one's interesting. I don't know if I necessarily agree with all of it, but I do agree with parts of it. I don't necessarily think you have to watch something that is unheard of, because, listen, free time is precious, especially me nowadays. My free time is much more limited than before, so I don't necessarily want to just watch something completely blind without anyone, because, whatever. That can be a bit of a drag for me. I understand the sentiment behind it, that you want to just, try things out. But I don't think I could do that. With that said, I'm not someone who chases after every show that is popular or whatever. A lot of my favorite shows are, unfortunately, kind of just not super popular shows. Usually for me, if a friend or somebody will recommend a show to me, that's what will go, oh, okay, I'm interested in checking that out. However, something that I think is interesting, though, is just watching stuff that recontextualizes what a mid or bad show is for you. That part, to me, is interesting. Because for me, something I do sometimes just to kind of, expand my experience with stuff is, for manga especially, I will read, the first volume of pretty much any manga. If I get sent manga or whatever, I'll just read the first volume. I've also been doing this thing where I've been reading every manga on the Shonen Jump app. Again, just to experience, because manga for me is a much lower commitment than a show, so it's just easier to read through stuff. I read pretty fast. And I will say, reading mid-ass manga really makes you appreciate... It really makes you appreciate, the manga you love. So I do see value in that. I guess the difference for me is that manga is just a lower commitment. Now, kind of reframing this, instead of picking out shows that are unheard of, I think I encourage everyone who's an anime fan to expand your anime horizons. Especially, I've talked about this before to death, but people who only watch shonen stuff, try other shows. I think right now there are a lot of people who, and listen, I don't dislike sort of shonen punch stuff, but a lot of people seem to be just into that, and I think that you are missing out. I think you're missing out on not watching other things and expanding your palette and just trying different genres you don't think you would like. And, maybe you won't like them, but at least you'll know, right? For me, I watched No Game, No Life, and I despised it. I just hated it. But it made me recontextualize, my experience, watching a show like Angel Beats, which I also did not like. But at least with Angel Beats, there was value in it. It's not a show I enjoy, but it was okay, and especially after watching No Game, No Life, it made me go, oh, I need to be less hard on Angel Beats. But yeah, I don't know, some of my favorite discoveries, my favorite anime, Chihaya Furu, were just me trying a show that wasn't, super popular, but I was like, this concept is interesting. I want to see, what they do with it. So that, I think, is something I would encourage people to do, is just try different shows. I can also agree with hey, stop trying to just farm engagement. To me, I've never been that way. I don't give a shit about farming engagement. I just watched Mirai. People aren't talking about Mirai. for me, I'm playing catch up on a lot of stuff. So all these, jujutsus and demon slayers and all these shows, yeah, I'm out of the loop. For me, it's never been important to be on top of that kind of stuff. I do want to watch those shows eventually, just to experience them. But I do think a lot of people online just take pleasure doesn't even seem like the right word. But they just want reactions. They just want, so they'll go, oh, this show's shit, and then they'll, and they'll just make people upset. Listen, I used to be like that. Like, quite honestly, like when I was younger, yeah, I definitely would go, oh, such and such. Like a show for me that I think a lot of people think that I hate, and I don't, is Bleach. I was a huge fan of Bleach. I loved Bleach as a kid. And then, I got older, and then, sometimes I would poke fun at it, right? Again, it was just kind of like an easy, target when I was younger. And I don't feel that way anymore. Honestly, I look back on Bleach now pretty fondly. I would like to one day go back and just finish it. It's to me, it was just a fun, kind of silly shonen. And now that I've read some really fucking mediocre shonen in the Shonen Jump app, Bleach, I'm like, it's pretty good compared to some of this absolute drivel. So, again, kind of looping back to recontextualizing things. And also just avoiding being reactionary. I think art is just hard to make. I think I give a lot of art the benefit of the doubt now. Especially as AI is just, taking away human-made art. So, I don't know, and that's maybe a video I'll talk about another thing, just giving people, or maybe I'll combine it into this one. I mean, fuck it. Is this gonna be like a fucking TED Talk? So, another take that I saw, this person, I'm not gonna post the whole thing, but it was basically I think anime fans would benefit a lot by practicing some animation for themselves. With the idea being hey, once you kind of see how hard it is to make something, then you'll appreciate it more. Now, I don't agree with you have to try to make animation yourself. No. I mean, it's kind of like the whole thing oh, you're critiquing a video game, make a video game. No, that's ridiculous. That's not... You don't have to make something to be able to critique something. However, I do think as someone who works in an entertainment industry, it's given me, and also has a lot of friends who work in animation and stuff, it's really given me a bigger perspective of how hard it is to make shit, and how a lot of it is just beyond people's control. For animators, for example, if a show comes out sloppy looking, honestly, the animators were probably just not given enough time, or there was executive meddling, or this, or maybe a director was to blame. You don't know. There's so many steps of the production line. Oftentimes, I hear it's executive bullshit, but you have no idea, right? Nobody sets out to make something bad. People want to make good art. It's just, for example, in voiceover, when I would listen to a voice acting performance as a kid, and it was let's say it was kind of shaky, I'd be like, oh man, that actor sucks. Now I realize, oh my god, there's so much stuff out of an actor's control. Now, yes, of course, an actor can just be bad. That's true. But as I've learned by working in this for so long, maybe the actor was not given enough context. Maybe the director was not given enough context. Maybe the director misdirected them. Maybe they just didn't have a complete script. Maybe it was rushed. There's so much that I go, wow, there's honestly no way to tell. So I guess I'm tying just two takes into one now. But basically, bottom line, I think making art is hard. You should, cut creators some slack. Obviously, you can still critique stuff, but to blame specific people when you don't know exactly where things went wrong, I think that's not productive. And I think just being more forgiving of big swings and things like that, and failures. I think we can stand to be more positive in general. And then going back to what I was talking about before, I think expanding your horizons, trying different types of anime and art and things like that can only benefit you, even if you don't like it in the end. I think it just, for me, I love talking about anime, and so I want to be as knowledgeable about as much different types of anime as I can, even the stuff I don't like, because it still adds to my knowledge of the medium and also recontextualizes my enjoyment or non-enjoyment of certain things. I might go, man, you know what? This show actually is pretty good in comparison to some of the absolute crap out there. Or, you know, or it can open my eyes to things I wasn't normally open to before. Sorry if this one was a little rambly, but I don't know. They're topics that I'm pretty passionate about. Go watch different art and appreciate art. That's the TLDR. All right. If you want to submit another hot take, my Patreon's down there. Patreon.com/ProZD. It's $1 a month. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.